back at Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, and ready for the first round of side-by-side monster truck racing on one of the most bizarre courses ever conceived, a zigzag Z-shaped course. Bigfoot versus Gary Schott and the Valvoline Monster leave the starting line together, and Bigfoot drives away like a rocket. Now into the tight first turn, each driver making a hard right into their own individual lane, but this one won't even be close. It's almost a solo run for Jim Kramer. Look at him make the turns, get right back on the throttle. He'll cross the finish line well ahead of the heavyweight Chevrolet. And in Gary Schott's defense, it should be pointed out that he's giving up about 7,000 pounds to the Big Blue Ford, and just to make it that close was a chore in itself. The next pair already staging up and ready for action. The AM/PM boss of Robert Parker on the right-hand side against the green machine that had problems. Dennis Anderson, another incredible leap in the Gravedigger. Then going to the first turn, Parker stalls and will hand a huge advantage to the Gravedigger Chevrolet. Parker apparently unable to recover. It'll be another near solo effort. Anderson goes to the next round. It should be pointed out that the quickest loser of this first round will be inserted into the semifinal field of 4. But Parker is still stuck at the end of the first straight. He will not be a factor in that. The next pair on the starting line, it'll be in the far lane, the Ecology Eliminator of your number 2 qualifier, Jim Reese. Huge hole shot over the green Skull Crusher. Look at Reese sideways off the first set of cars, now setting up for that hard right-hand turn. They actually make the turn together. It looks like the Skull Crusher may actually be a factor here. But look at the red Chevrolet driver locking up the brakes with the rear wheels coming up. He hits the pole, but that won't be a disqualification yet. Reese hits the finish line a winner. After one of the wilder rides, and credit has to go to the Skull team for keeping up in a heated battle. On the replay, you can see the hole shot. Watch this landing for the red Chevrolet sideways there. But when they went into the first hard, literally U-turn to the right, it was really an even battle. The difference was made up right here. The Chevrolet powers into the turn, locks up the brakes, and pulls the rear wheels off the ground. He taps the pole, but Reese straightens it out and comes home a winner in the first round of eliminations. Wild run for the hometown favorite, but obviously Reese has his sights set on bigger prey. He wants Gravedigger and Bigfoot. And coming up, he'll have his chance. The 3 greatest trucks in this battle will wage war. Don't go away. We pointed out that the first round's quickest loser would be reinstated into the semis, and here he is, the Skull Crusher in the far lane. But problems already set in here in the first race of the semifinals, and Jim Reese's Ecology Eliminator drives away from the struggling Skull Crusher. It should be a free ride for the Chevrolet pilot. Reese manages to keep the rear wheels on the ground coming around the last turn this time around. Now nails the throttle hard to cross the finish line and advance into his first final round appearance of the 1991 U.S. Hobbit Association season. Big problems for the Skull Crusher team. As you can see, they won't even make it to the finish line. On the replay, the look at Reese. You want to talk about aggressive driving styles? This man means business in a huge way. The last turn was nearly perfect, locking up the brakes, then heel to toe, back to the gas, hard on the throttle, and coming across the finish line a winner. Bobby Z was never in the contest. That will bring up the clash of the Titans, Bigfoot and Gravedigger, to meet the Ecology Eliminator in the final. A wheel standing launch for the Gravedigger, but a sideways landing. He'll make the turn anyway. Jim Kramer and Bigfoot swings around perfectly and has to make up the difference. Coming into the last turn, it's going to be tight. Anderson goes wide and looked almost scared of running into Bigfoot side by side, but now Kramer goes past the winner. Look at Anderson all over the track, but a loser nonetheless as Bigfoot uses sheer intimidation to win. You can see the advantage going to the Gravedigger off the starting line. Then that bobble allowed Jim Kramer to make up time. That put them dead even going into the last turn. Now watch Anderson. He had it straightened out, but saw the blue Ford coming around. He actually gave room to Jim Kramer and then went sideways trying to make up for his own mistake. Kramer benefits on Anderson's indecision. So as a dejected Dennis Anderson heads to the pits, the semifinals have produced a Ford versus Chevy Eliminator versus Bigfoot battle, and Chris Chapman has Jim Kramer. Chris?
Jim Kramer, an impressive win over Gravedigger. How'd that make you feel?
Oh, real good. I tell you what, my Firestone tires are biting so hard, I got to loosen up my clutch so I get more hole shot. He jumped me out of the hole, but I got him in the corner, and that's the main thing.
Now you're coming up against a local favorite, Jim Reese, the Eliminator.
Jim, I've raced before. We kind of go tit for tat, you know what I mean? Sometimes he wins, sometimes I do. I want to give him a heck of a run. The truck's doing well. I'm going to try to keep it together.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chris. And from Anaheim, California, we now head to the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota for the quickest and fastest indoor motorsports machines in the world, the Super Modified Mud Racers. Battling for a lapse time on an 80-foot-long pit, it's the ABE machine of Joe Reinhold, the South Dakota State champion, a Chevy-powered Jeep CJ Funny Car, against Bill Worth and the Mud Dragon, another Chevy-powered Jeep, the Red Machine, in the near lane. 80 feet of distance in which to race, then 80 more to stop. Reinhold hard on the brakes. He stops within inches of the disqualification line, marking the end of the shutdown area. You gotta stop him at 80 feet. 3.35 seconds for the ABE team, 3.47 for Worth. The drivers trying to qualify for 4 available positions from Kentucky. It's T-Ray in the TNT Supercharged Jeep in the near lane against Mike Stark in the Stark Raving Mad short wheelbase entry. T-Ray with a great run on the brakes, hard, but he goes past the 80-foot mark in stopping distance, and he knew it. Stark, in the meantime, is okay at 4.40 seconds. In the far lane from Waukegan, Illinois, Mark Green's brand new Mudbuster. We took a look earlier. It may look confusing, but for the last 5 years, this has been the best working suspension in super modified mud racing. But this year, Mark Green's incredible Mudbuster Jeep out of Illinois has something else going for it, along with an incredibly hard-working chassis, about 400 extra horsepower, the brand new supercharged Chevrolet motor, and its first time out here at the Metrodome.
Everybody else is going to these big superchargers, and there's a lot of organizations that just don't allow the nitrous anymore, and you just have to put a supercharger on it.
In the near lane from Minneapolis, it'll be Dwayne Hirsch in the Psychobabble supercharged small block machine, and he straps one on Green. They both stop in time. The Mudbuster machine at 2.75 seconds, the quickest one of the night so far, but a 2:47 for Hirsch puts him in the #1 spot. Lynn Brink in the 32 Special supercharged big block Chevy-powered coupe leaves the line. On the brakes hard. He'll barely stop it in time at 2.50 seconds. That'll put him into the shootout field. Remember, only the 4 quickest positions will get into actual eliminations for the Camel shootout. It'll be Gordon Jesse in the point blank in the far lane. In the near lane, John Daly and the aptly named Hang On, a fireball in the point blank machine, which goes out of bounds, but Daly runs a career best 2:48.3. That'll qualify him for the Camel shootout right now in the #3 position. So the qualifying results show us that the Psychobabble of Hirsch, the hometown favorite, leads at 2:47, followed by the Hang On machine of Daly, then the 32 Special of Brink, and the new Mudbuster of Mark Green in 4th. Coming up, monster truck action continues from California, and more mud racing from Minneapolis. Stay with us.